You there, Alyssa?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, we're getting started. Welcome, everyone. Calling this meeting of the Finance Committee to order here at 6:38 on 12th of April, 2025. As is our now custom, we will start with the update from our comptroller.
Sure. Let's do that way. You just have to take one statement back, and I saved everything there.
Fancy on us.
I know, they're trying to throw you all for a loop here. First thing I just wanted to update you on is the sales tax collections for 2024 are complete. We did finish the year at 20.1 million. That was greater, almost $800,000 higher than the budget. We budgeted to 20.3 million for 25. We just need just under a 1% increase over the 24 actual levels to reach our 25 target. We've had one collection so far this year was over the prior year, so it's too early to tell you we're tracking positively, but it's one payment of many. But so far so good. Parking revenue I looked at. Looks like it's or not parking. I meant ambulance revenue. Parking revenue, you kind of know, is always pretty solid. Ambulance revenue is on pace for roughly what I'm seeing is $150,000 a month is coming in. Which is great.
That's great.
Yeah, we budgeted 1.5 million. There's still some burn off of prior year receivables, so once we true up those numbers, it could go down a little bit, but so far so good. We're seeing our collection rate go up, our billing rate go up as we kind of work through some hiccups there, but so far so good. On the flip side, we're seeing in terms of negative variances, probably at this point overtime, not necessarily in general, but we are seeing ambulance overtime is pretty high right now. We're over halfway through February. We're already halfway through our overtime budget for the year. Some of that is staffing. And we just brought on more employees on board. They're not going to be fully in service working the apparatus until sometime in April. So we should see a downtick of the overtime, but it's pretty confident that the numbers are going to be, the overtime figures are going to be well in excess of the budgeted number there. Okay. So we're hoping between the positive variance in revenue will offset some of the overtime costs. Will kind of keep you budgeted or keep you updated on where we're at the ambulance budget, because this is once again a new item for 25, right? 24, the ambulance was incorporated into the fire department's budget. It's really hard to break out those figures. We have a separate ambulance department, and probably at some point in the future, I'll bring in like year-to-date budget reports just for ambulance, so you kind of see how that's going. I figured that would be a point of interest for the council.
Oh, yeah.
New business line, right? If you want to call it a service area, the city's providing, and you can see how we are shaping up versus budget. Other than that, most of the main categories are going pretty well. The insurances, health insurance looks okay compared to where we were this time last year. The rest of it's kind of early to tell. So. And in terms of 24 total final numbers, we'll be wrapping up our state report at the end of next month. As soon as I have that report, I'll send communication to the council, let you know where we wind up with fund balance. But I don't want to speak too prematurely, but it's pretty tight. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What about the revenue from our new traffic enforcement?
Oh, you know what? I actually have those numbers, and I apologize.
I heard that it's doing very well.
It is. Actually, I have
yeah.
Actually, I have it on my shelf. I could probably get that in between meeting items and bring that in. I do have that. Yeah, I'll bring that up. I actually have a report on my inbox that has the number of violations that we wrote broken down by violation type. and the amount collected for each, so I'll grab that in between here.
And parking is that just the meters or is that include parking tickets as well?
Both. I would say, I mean, if anything, our violation revenue, what I looked at earlier tonight, violation revenue is up quite a bit, but.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, it's a good advantage. No, right now it's probably up mainly because of the snow emergency tickets, right? Early in the year, January, February, pretty heavy on snow emergency tickets. The additional enforcement we are seeing, we're writing tickets, but it's not a huge number moving the needle, but it's covering the cost. It's just, it's just, we're not writing the number of tickets in like a half hour, a couple hour shift that we, would write during the day. We have, 2.5 people writing tickets for portions of the day, so. All right.
Anything else?
What's our, contingencies, 200?
So we replenished the 24 contingency. You're gonna go through some budget transfers at the special meeting, here this month.
Where did they think?
Yeah,
Is it?
24.
The 24th, right? So I do know that we have enough in the 24 contingency to cover those transfers. That won't be an issue. So I've updated a number here for the 25 contingency, which is 200,000. It's not gonna go far. Definitely not, right? So, but as of yet, there's really no draws on it. I think the first draws, hopefully the first draws you see on it are some requests to cover some retirements that aren't as part of the normal operating budget. Sent some communications out earlier today regarding those, so I think you'll see some requests from the departments to move some money around. But we'll have to look at opportunities to possibly replenish that as we can. Right now, I don't see any area where we can grab it from. It's just a little early yet.
All right. Anything else? All right, let's get into the meat of the budget. Since we've got some people here, so Alan's not here, right?
No, right, and here's his updated, request.
Ken is here though.
Yeah.
Right over there.
I'll take that one, so.
Yeah.
I'm gonna run downstairs and grab what I need for
Okay.
parking.
Well, there we go. Commission, then we will jump ahead to Emily's portion here.
I just would recommend on the actual committee report for Emily, just make sure it references the 2025 budget request.
Okay.
It's a budget transfer for 25.
You want to come up?
Hello.
What are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Excellent. And what do we need to know about your request here?
This is a pretty simple budget transfer. I think it's zero cost to the bottom line, it's just a transfer. It's for two different things. The first one is for 2 picnic tables for the police office park. That is, we got a grant from the New York State Main Street Grant facilitated by Buckco. So this is just to kind of clear out the budget to make sure it goes from the right budget line to the right one. And then the second part is that we've gotten the opportunity to go to 2 national conferences, and this will be completely covered by our Creating Healthy Schools and Communities grant project. So both transfers are grant funded and zero income.
Makes it easy.
But this is all in the same report, right?
Yeah, same request. I thought I'd do it all in one
All right.
package.
And it's zero financial. Any questions for Emily?
How much
much time is left on that grant? Was it 5 years, the
For
healthy?
the Korean Healthy
Yeah.
Schools Degrees, thank you for asking. So we are in the fourth year, which ends May 31st, so we have one last year for the grant. We hope that they will put out a request for the next iteration, but there's a little bit of federal funding in it. I think that's slowing up the RFP process. So to be determined.
Can I take a peek?
Sure, did you want show and tell?
Yeah.
We want to go and tell.
Okay, so these are the picnic tables that will be at the park.
Okay.
It's out with the recycled plastic that we have in all of the benches, it matches the same, so the difference is that it'll be surface mounted, this is in ground. We'll have 2 tables that have 4 seats, one that is 3 seats that is wheelchair accessible from the far side of the park.
Oh,
2 of the tables will have chessboards, one will move. So we'll have a variety of little tables. These are all sort of placed behind Dallas hot meters. They're on this side of the 2 persons.
Can you spend the benches on this one and turn it into a helicopter?
Yeah.
No?
That's an extra cost.
We spend extra for sound pickleball, sound pickleball. Picnic table.
Yeah, looks good.
All right, we have a motion to approve.
Motion. Second?
Steve Shabbat. Motion, second by Drew Andrews. Any discussion? Here we go. Vote, in favor,
Aye.
opposed? Passage unanimous. All right. And then, are you here, Bartek?
I'm here.
You're here, okay. You wanna go next, or you wanna wait?
I can go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Come on up. So the first one is property sales, potential. Ooh, look at that
Oh.
picture.
I was like, what is that?
Okay, so at the last Housing and Community Development meeting, I did present to the committee the outcome of the study that we did as pertaining as to whether housing and commercial uses can be added to the Kingston Business Park. And that study did find that, the business park could potentially fit up to 600 housing units in addition to some new commercial uses. There is an opportunity that the city currently has to acquire. So everything in yellow is the business park. And you see here, there's some small series of lots here. This is 4th Avenue, this is 3rd Avenue. And there is the opportunity for the city currently to acquire these properties. And so here's a zoomed in 4th Avenue. These are the lots in yellow. There's an opportunity for the city to currently acquire these properties. Because of the slope of these properties, they're not viable for actual development. However, they are quite interesting because they're adjacent to the business park and they have street frontage on 4th Avenue, so they could be a new potential access point between the business park and the Avenues neighborhood. We don't envision, because of the slope, that you could build a road, but you could potentially have a pedestrian connection there that would serve the residents. Obviously, any development business park is a long ways off, but because there is this current opportunity to purchase these lots, I think we should take it. And so I'm asking the council to authorize the purchase of these 5 parcels. The total purchase price is $25,000 for all of them.
Wow.
So I have
What is-
a bunch of questions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right, should I just like say them and then you can
Mhm.
click on, all right, so I was wondering, first of all, if it's how much how much land is there? Like, is there an acre? What is it? I have the dimensions of all of them, I looked them up, but Like, what does it total?
I might be able to look that up. I have it somewhere.
Okay, and then has the property been appraised? And why would we not have the KLDC purchase it if they're like holding all the property right now for the whole, the whole project?
Yeah.
And is this like a phase 3 or something? Like I read through the report. That
On
area,
phase
yeah,
3.
yeah, so,
Yeah, well, it's next to what could be phase 1.
okay,
Because it's next to what could be the kind of the heart of any redevelopment, where there's like commercial and the highest density residential, so it's next to that.
Okay.
I did not do an appraisal of these properties because they are, the total purchase price of 25,000 is well below the assessed value of the parcels. So we're getting it at and I did look at some comps, but not in a formal appraisal way, because I feel like we're getting a good deal. And we can talk a little bit more about that in the executive session if we wanted to,
Yeah, yeah.
quickly. But I
Okay,
Yeah.
and then just my last question was all the other, it said Kingston properties that we own, City of Kingston properties in the blue lines. Do we actually own all of those?
so,
It's not like something that we're looking to acquire in the future?
yeah, so all of the other ones. Yeah, so we do own this one already, we do own this one, and we own this one up here as well.
And that one up there, that's in Sojourner Truth?
It's actually not,
Oh, okay.
yes, but it is adjacent, kind of in between the business park and the.
Are those also really slopey and not suitable for?
It's a little bit of a wet area, and that parcel, it makes sense perhaps one day to become a part of the state park or part of an open space, not really to be developed. And then the question about why we would buy it, the city led the study about the business park. And we already own some of these other adjacent properties that could be kind of access points. And so I kind of see our role as facilitating possible development in the future in a strategic way.
Could there be an access point where we own the piece down below?
When you say down below, this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, potentially. This is actually really skinny. It was not recommended by Borough Happold as a potential access point. But they did think this one was the most feasible one, yeah, for a pedestrian connection.
And that's because it's closer to where the development is as opposed to the other one further down, which.
Yeah, that's
is
right.
Some distance.
Yeah, and the other advantage of access point here is that, and I think we might have talked about this at the housing committee, this large parcel here is owned by the land bank and will one day potentially be developed. And Borough Happold did believe that if the business park were to be redeveloped and these parcels were to be redeveloped by the land bank, you could potentially support some neighborhood serving retail down below. And so it makes sense to create a new pedestrian access point between kind of those two centers.
So that would be the reason to not ask the Kingdom Lands Trust to buy it? Or see if they would go for those parcels?
The land trust,
Yeah.
to buy which parcels?
All of them.
But the city.
Well, the land, I mean, I don't want to speak for the land trust, but primarily they're focused on preserving open space. It could potentially, I don't want to speak for the land trust.
Thank you.
So you said it's below the assessed value. What is the assessed value?
I can, give me a second.
And I assume we would need to go into executive session if we were to talk about from whom these parcels would be purchased.
So the full market value,
The assessment was $16,000 in 2023. No, per parcel, so.
Oh,
I thought one was like 21.6.
I'm
One
looking-
was
I'm
16.
sorry,
yes,
and
I'm
looking-
21.7.
That's
Okay,
actually-
yeah, no, they're all different.
the full market assessed value is 122. And
Just keep in mind, the
uh,
assessed value is not a full equalized value, right, so.
this is, yeah, this is the full market value.
Full market value.
Yes.
Okay, the number you're quoting.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And the acreage is just a little over 1 acre. Did I answer your question?
Yes, yes, you did.
Okay, yeah.
I would like to make a motion that we enter executive session to discuss. What is the reason that we're, to discuss a
Real estate.
real estate
real estate.
transaction,
Okay,
and allow all city employees to review.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. You can say if you want.
Did you say city employees?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
you can say.
We see what goes on in the executive session.
Well,
Housing Authority.
Yeah.
We have gotten no information at this point
Okay,
because we're out from under HUD,
right.
except for getting the housing vouchers. And as far as we know, they aren't going to have a voucher program. The other program was still under like HUD's aegis, I think.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't know how they were organized, but that was one of the.
That's
We
what
did-
you're under.
Well, just because we went through the
Right.
section 22 conversion.
Right,
So we're no longer, you know,
right,
our
you're not
properties.
paying section 9.
Well, we're not, those part, like, that is no longer a HUD project.
Right, yeah,
Right.
yeah, that was section 9.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking was the issue with Hudson Landings, it's called.
That's emergency housing. Yeah, no, those were vouchers. They were like emergency vouchers.
Maybe that's the difference too, it's emergency vouchers as
Mhm.
opposed to the, but we don't know. I mean, that's the problem, because, you
Okay.
know, we've gotten this information, that information, it's just.
Thank you. Yeah, I just like saw things from all over the country, different housing authorities saying
Yeah, I saw
different
those too.
things. so.
The other problem is, in another part of my life, we've seen that basically what you're getting is, it's random. There's not, you can't figure out why that one got it, that
Yeah,
one
no,
didn't,
no.
and so forth. So,
It's part of the plan.
So,
All right.
Jack,
so do you have a, committee?
Is there not one there?
No, I don't think so. Or wait, hold on, is there? No,
no,
not.
Are there any blanks in the?
I haven't liked.
We have blank ones, yeah, just.
I can assume it's.
Do you want, here, I got it. You write it up. Is it the? Here you go. Thanks. Give me the pen.
The last thing on the agenda?
Where? Amend section, fee schedule. I couldn't even find, where was the agenda printed? Because I went on
it
finance.
was not on the website.
Yeah,
Oh, where was it?
No, no, we just
It's
got it
item
here.
number 11, but,
Oh, all right,
so do you want to put it on those ones?
yeah, 'cause,
Okay. You
just
got it, yeah.
Jackie, I heard she's not expecting to,
That's where we did last.
yeah.
That's where we did last.
Yeah, because it wasn't, that agenda, originally we saw that agenda, and then online, it wasn't online. And then, like, when I went to the meeting,
Okay,
there was no materials, I had no printed agenda, so.
okay. I think there's confusion about it.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to handle if you have enough information to act on it tonight, I mean, it's entirely up to this committee.
do we need to say where that's coming from?
Is it in the packet? The letter?
I don't think you need to.
No, I didn't.
No, as long as it's my financial, my social, my account. Okay.
Yeah, let's see.
Because you're not gonna pass a budget transfer for it.
No, the packet just has a lot of documents pertinent to number 10.
Okay, it's only on there.
It's-
So it,
No, it's not on there.
Yeah, it's not in the packet that was online,
No.
but.
next week.
I would just, like I said, just make sure if you have,
I
anything
let her
you need
know.
in advance, just talk to Jackie and see if
Okay.
you got it.
And she'll come.
She can't come.
Oh, she can. Okay.
No, she has an obligation.
All right.
She was available tonight, not.
Oh, okay.
All right, the committee report reads authorizing the purchase of 162-180, 182-184, 186-288, 190-192, and 194-196 Fourth Avenue for $25,000. So of course, the estimated financial will be $25,000. Do we have a motion to approve? Motion
Second,
by Drew Andrews, second by Sarah Pasty. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Passes unanimously. And then you've got a budget transfer, but it's internal to your,
Yeah, this has to do with some unspent grant funds for the Midtown Avenue project that I will be spending this year.
And then to just to clarify, the committee reports, just please make sure references 25 budgetary transfer.
yes.
It's just a rollover similar to Emily's, where it was just a rollover of grant monies from one year to next.
That's, I just
Right,
wrote,
that's what yours was, right?
I just wrote in 2025.
Yeah, perfect, that's fine.
All right, so this report reads, Housing Initiatives Budget Transfer Request, transferring $35,929.45 in unspent private grant funds from the 2024 to the 2025 budget. Because it's an internal transfer of that sort, zero financial impact. Motion by Steve Shabbat,
second,
second by Sarah Pasty. Is there any discussion?
There's a question,
Sure.
what's the next step with that?
Yeah, so
And the
we're,
survey?
the survey was completed and we did a big, community outreach
Yeah.
push last year. This year, we'll be focusing on specific sites and looking at specific development of those sites in the town. And in the meantime, the pattern for progress is drafting the report. We do expect that will be finished by the end.
All right. Hearing no further discussion, we'll call for the vote. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Passes unanimously.
You're just flying by already.
Thank you.
thank you, Barbara.
Now go back to item number 3 on the agenda, which is, item number 2, transfer the wastewater treatment facility. Yeah, you said, is there
That's
a,
the new committee reports attached to that.
so all right, this is also internal transfer. The report reads, internal transfer to reconcile the wastewater treatment facilities accounts. There is no overall financial impact from these transfers, and the specific accounts are attached. We have a motion to approve. Steve
Second,
Shabbat, second by Sarah Pasty. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Passes unanimously. We now move to the fire department. Description, interim transfers to close out the 2024 budget. No specific numbers attached with it.
There should have been,
Or right here they are. That's the right one, yeah.
yes, I got it.
All right. So there's a whole series of transfers here. Do we have a motion to approve? Motion.
second,
Steve Shabbat, Sarah Pasty, any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
aye,
2 pages there. Thank you. Move on to Kingston Police Department. Budget modification to balance the number of accounts in KPD. This is the 25 account or 24?
24. It should be 24. Can I, actually, I'm sorry, can I see? Where it should be? Yes, I'll go off this over 24.
All right, do we have a motion to approve? Steve, second by Drew Andrews. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Passes unanimously. And then we've done health and wellness. Zoot. And we are now at Flatbush and Foxhall Sewer and Design Replacement Project.
Sean?
John?
John, are you there?
Yes, good evening. How's everyone?
There you are. Hello.
It's like you came in from nowhere. Swooped in like a drone.
Yeah. I can give a little overview and background on the project if you would like.
Please do.
Yes.
Okay, so we've been working for many years to advance a streetscape project on Vauxhall and Flatbush Avenues. In addition, we've always known that the sewer infrastructure in this section of road is largely from the 1930s, making it 80 plus years old. And the DPW has a lot of calls for problems on this sewer line. So we've done some study on the sewer lines to determine there are alignment problems in the slope of the sewer. There are problems related to the condition and age of the pipe. And so we want to get ahead of this, and we're proposing a project. Tonight is our request for design funds for about between 4,000 and 5,000 foot long project that would go basically from the railroad crossing on Flatbush through the intersection of the two roads and then down Foxhall Avenue, basically to Hasbrook Avenue. And schedule-wise, we can complete this design this year, and we think we can get it into construction, starting roughly a year from now with the 2026 construction season. So that's kind of an overview. It's a project that's important not just for the people immediately fronting on there, but for large parts of the northern part of the city, contribute to the sanitary sewers. So it's kind of it's a project with some regional benefits for large parts of the city.
Questions for John?
Yes, John. Do you want to go? Oh, so I'm looking at this and you're saying that the design costs are estimated to be 600,000?
That's correct.
And what are the eventual construction costs then going to be?
Right. The construction is construction and construction inspection could be on the order of $7 to $8 million.
Okay, thank you.
Is that the sort of project too, where we might be eligible for funds from outside the city?
Yes, this is by getting this into construction and preparing. We're going to prepare a design report this in the spring here, which will get us on the Environmental Facilities Corporation, which is a New York State agency that administers financing and funding. We've used that funding source both for low or no interest loans as well as grants on past projects. Um, this, so yes, in general, I would expect that some grant funding will be identified once we have started the design.
But the $600,000 has to come out of our pocket.
Yeah, we'll definitely need that in the first instance. Even some portion of that may become eligible for a grant that we may qualify for later. But we'll do the right thing and get this onto the New York State intended use plan, which makes us eligible to apply for grants into the July-August timeframe is the expected time when a lot of those get announced.
Okay.
Good.
Hi, John.
Hi.
So Foxhall comes down into Ward 9. So why is it ending at Hasbrook and not going all the way to Broadway?
Yeah, so there's actually the stretch of Foxhall between Hasbrook and Broadway doesn't have the same history of sewer problems that we've seen. It may be that there's some newer piping there compared to the rest of the corridor.
Okay. And then what end would you start the project on? So like I have a couple businesses at Foxhall and, Hasbrook.
Yeah. I mean, I'm hopeful that the whole thing could be constructed in a single construction season. That's the phasing and sequence is not yet known here. When we bid this, whether we elect to do it as a single bid or multiple, we'll always be sensitive to our neighbors and our businesses and residences who would join this project. And in all our sewer projects, there's a need to maintain traffic through or around the site and then maintain the utility services during construction as well. So the sequence and phasing is not really determined at this point, but similar to other projects, we would probably hold a public meeting and make sure we understand the special needs of businesses and residents so that there's going to be some inconvenience, but work to keep that to a minimum.
And what about laterals? Like, will people need new laterals or you're gonna be able to hook up the old laterals?
Usually with a project like this, we construct new laterals, generally to the back of the sidewalk, or at least back of curb. And then if additional, if people have problems beyond that, it's a private matter that they would need to take care of with a plumber.
Would like the corner businesses at Foxhall and Hasbrook, would they know where their lateral is necessarily? Like, is there something I can check on?
The design will largely investigate that, and then people will have a clear picture of what we have to do, to their individual properties.
Okay. And my last question, thank you. The 7 to 8 million for construction, does that include repaving?
Yes, it does, but it'll be in a binder rather than, we're just going to pave the minimum trench as part of this project and then let the streetscape project, which is expected to follow this, do the full width of the street. The streetscape project, as currently envisioned, would be new curbing, new sidewalks, and paving, pavement marking, signage, landscaping, all of those things.
Thank you.
Hi, John.
Hi.
When the road is cut open, are we gonna give Central Hudson and Archtop and the other utilities the opportunity to do what they need to do on the street before we redesign the street and have them cut it up?
Yes, that the design would especially reach out to Central Hudson for gas. We know on many city streets, Central Hudson has steel gas mains, which they are going around the city and replacing with modern materials. They're obligated to do that. So because the sanitary sewer is usually the deepest utility, a project like this does often trigger Central Hudson to come in and make those changes, because we have some limitations in our ability even to work within so many feet of steel gas mains if they haven't been replaced. So the design phase would uncover that condition if it exists here.
Thank you.
I guess the lead lines too, like the water lines, right? With that.
Yeah, we do. If we find lead lines, we do extend those also to the back of the curb, with replace them where they're encountered. That's another thing that these projects typically do. Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Other questions? All right, thanks for all that, John.
Thanks.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Do we have a motion to approve? Motion. Second by Drew Andrews. Any discussion? Yeah, this is one of those things that's, in the end, you can't point to and say, look what we did. Because it's underground, but it's
But you
absolutely
gotta do it.
vital. Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Very large project.
yeah. Glad to hear that there's a possibility of getting grant money in various ways. All right, if there's no more discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Passes unanimously.
Right, I was gonna update, that's just a related committee report just for the bond ordinance.
Okay.
Normally, the bond ordinance would have language that John, it's a separate resolution.
All right, well, that's going around. I'll read this. It says authorized bond ordinance in the amount of $600,000 for engineering and design services related to the Flatbush and Foxhall Avenue Sewer and Drainage Replacement Project. Anything against dots? Didn't dot your I, and put a period at the end?
Tell you, I try to type everything, but.
All right, do we have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Motion by Sarah Pasty, second. Second by Steve Shabbat. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, we're good. It's Mr. ARPA.
No one's ever called me that before.
Really?
Yeah,
All
it's
right.
called ARPA Czar.
Oh, okay, sorry. I did.
It's all right. It's okay. You can call me anything you want, actually, if you want. I got a few things I don't want to be called, but I'm not going to repeat them here.
All right, tell us what's going on with ARPA.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the time, first of all, allowing me to get you guys updated on what's going on. I hope Did somebody say something?
Nope, go ahead.
Okay. I'm assuming everybody's got the memo that I drafted for you that pretty much outlines everything. We can go through it if you like, and then, if you have any questions, just let me know.
Sure.
Okay. So as I indicated last year when we did updates on this, 2024 was a very pivotal year for ARPA. Anybody who received ARPA funds across the country needed to indicate that the funds were obligated, or if nothing else, assigned to a particular government entity's fund balance. And we did that. And we did it in keeping with the economic recovery plan that the council approved in 2021. As of the end of the year last year, the city obligated $16.3 million to specific projects and programs, and assigned to the fund balance just over $1 million. Ongoing initiatives the city is funding through ARPA include the following highly visible projects: Kingston Business Park redevelopment, which you just went through with Bartek, Affordable Housing Collaboration Initiative for the Kingston City Land Bank, Downtown Mixed Use Housing Development Plan, Housing Right to Counsel Program, Mobile Mental Health Administrative Contract with Ulster County, the city's new ambulance program, Eat Stadium and Murphy Center improvements, our wayfinding signage system, the food system plan with focus on food security improvement, the Rondout Creek flood monitoring system, post office park, and 2 remaining grant programs that we're doing, business hardship and business promotion. So I just figured we'd go through the grant programs and then after that, do a quick rundown about where the money's gone.
Sure.
All but one of our grant programs have closed out. The last active program, business promotion, will end March 28th. I don't know if you recall, but the business promotion grant program, we provided monies to Kingston's 3 business advocacy groups so they could advocate for their member businesses, Cuba, MBA, and Quaba. So at that point, as we're closing out these grant programs, the mayor and the common council have provided more than $3.3 million in support to the community in our collective effort to recover from the very negative aspects of the COVID pandemic. The programs are as follows, and I think a lot of these you're already aware of because we talked about them many times. The first is Arts and Cultural Internship Grant Program, $42,000 expended. Nonprofit Services Grant Program, over $1 million expended. We wanted to expend that, but given the fact that a number of applicants didn't meet their obligations, we ultimately spent $947,000. Small Business Grant Program, 141 businesses each received $7,500 grants for the total expenditure of $1,056,000. Affordable Housing Fund Program, $825,000 in funding for 5 properties that were identified. The Business Hardship Program, that was one of the last programs that we did. This was in response to a number of concerns that were expressed to us by businesses experiencing retail businesses experiencing lower foot traffic due to ARPA-funded construction projects. 3 businesses uptown received $7,500. And that would be Headstone Gallery, Pedalos, and Uptown Coffee. Community Events Grant Program. Through this program, 75 events were funded, $359,000 expended. And the Business Promotion Grant Program, which I just talked about, $50,000 allocation to the 3 business programs. And we expect that program to close out March 28th. We're waiting for some paperwork claims to be made to the city by Cuba and Quaba, and we should be all set. Kingston Waterfront Business Association, in case you're wondering what Quaba is. So, of course, what I did here next was list all the buckets that we spent ARPA monies on. This is all contained in the ARPA spending plan summary, which we update regularly. That's on the Engage Kingston page under the ARPA category. Arts, cultural, tourism, development projects, just over $1 million. Business Development Fund, 1.2 million. Housing Action Projects, almost 4.8 million. Nonprofit Service Support, 1.2 million. Parks and Greenway Fund, 1.1 million. Public Health Projects, nearly 1.9 million. Vital Community Infrastructure, 4 million. Administrative costs, $941,000. And we placed monies in the fund balance just over $1 million. And that brings our total award to $17,301,385. As usual, we put the message out to the community. The old saying is, if people don't know what you're doing, then you're not doing your job. We did, through radio and through press releases and social media, we put out the word on any kind of ARPA related initiative that the city was doing. And I've got all the press releases listed here. I don't think you need me to list them. As always, I got great support from the Grants Management Office and the Comptroller's Office. Can't thank them enough for all the support I received from them. And if you all have any questions, ask me. And if I can't answer them, I'll get back to you. That's it, pretty much.
Thank you, Arbor Director Reynolds. I was curious, if you could provide us a timeline of when we'll see those wayfinding signs.
Yes, I'll have to get back to you on that.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
The affordable housing projects, the $825,000.
Yep.
Do those projects have to be completed then by the end of this year? Like, what's gonna happen if those are not?
No, those monies need to be good question. Those monies need to be spent by the end of 2026. The ARPA program actually goes until the end of 2026.
Okay.
In
And
terms
then-
of spending the money.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, do we think they'll be on track?
I think so. I haven't heard anything otherwise. If Bartek's been I check up on him, but he's also been very, very good about if there's any hiccups or issues that he's running into, he sounds the alarm immediately.
Okay, so
But
like
I'll check with him anyway.
like just worst case scenario, in the middle of 26, we find out like they're not gonna be on track, they're not gonna be able to spend that money, then can we still reallocate?
John, can we do that?
I just want to clarify there.
I mean, at this point, all the money is ours.
Restriction on funds,
Okay.
okay? So I mean, the plan is still to have everything done by 26, but we're not under a federal obligation now
Okay,
because the funds have been recognized.
okay,
So
thank you.
in essence,
The money is basically ours now.
We've always had the money in hand. It's just now that we've fulfilled our reporting obligation. So the funds now are city funds.
Okay.
So we don't have the federal restriction of when it has to be spent by. And we have our own plans and our own agenda to get all the work done by the end of 26, but it wouldn't be an issue if we had to extend beyond that if need be.
Okay.
It's not like they're gonna claw back the money. Well, of course,
Yeah.
under the current environment, who knows? Under the circumstances, who knows what they're gonna do, but,
But they can't renege on paying us back because we have the money.
right.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for all your hard work.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll get back to you, Michael, on your question.
Any other questions, comments? Anything Harper related? All right. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank
You know where to
you.
find me if you have any questions.
All right. The next item is vacant building fees assessed in error. Is Matt there? No.
Yes, I am.
Hello,
Well,
Matt.
I was here. Hold on. All right, I'm back. All right, so as per the letter, the building department had received these two requests to have the vacant fees for these properties that were assessed in the levy removed. Unfortunately, I do anticipate you guys will probably get more of these requests as the year continues. But as outlined in these requests, the first one for 55 Fair Street, basically the vacancy fee was paid. However, it was paid after it was put on the re-levy. So we need action by the council to have it officially removed, but it has been confirmed that the city did receive the check back in October for that when the property was sold. And then with regard to the second property, that property, all previous vacancy fees had been paid. It was a property that was foreclosed by the bank. The bank paid all the fees. It went to a foreclosure sale. During that time, there were title searches, no new fees, and it was sold. And then shortly thereafter, I think it was about a week after the closing, a new vacancy fee was then assessed against the previous owner. So I guess things had crossed, so that is being requested to be removed as well. So any questions or clarifications needed?
Seems pretty straightforward to me.
John, do you have any input or?
No, I think you explained it pretty well, Matt. I mean,
Mhm.
you know, these were two oddball type situations, right? So.
Okay.
Okay, well, if there are no questions then, there are two committee reports. I'll read the first one. Authorizing the removal of the sum of $10,200 vacant building fees from the 2025 general tax bill for 55 Fair Street by current property owners Sharing Plan and Trust, DA-WIN LLC, 401k profit, which amount was erroneously placed on said tax bill for vacant building fees as per the attached documentation. Estimated financial impact, $10,200. Do we have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Steve Shavit, second by Sarah Pasty. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Anyone opposed? That one passes unanimously. The second one reads, authorizing the removal of the sum of $6,200 vacant building fees from the 2025 general tax bill for 62-64 First Avenue by current property owners Irish Tigers LLC, which amount was erroneously placed on said tax bill for vacant building fees as per the attached documentation. Estimated financial impact, $6,200. We have a motion to approve. Drew Andrews makes the motion. Second by Sarah Pasty. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you, Matt.
Thanks,
All
Mark.
right,
Thank you.
Have a good
Thanks
evening.
for that shirt. It woke me up.
It's really good. It's a good shirt though.
Thanks, friend.
Yesterday's weather.
And then the last item here, we're moving that one, right?
That's the one, yeah.
That's, we're not discussing that here. And then old business.
This I think is the carryover from the last meeting where we were talking about parking fees for overnight parking in the parks,
Yeah,
which is moved to old business because I then spoke with corporate counsel, with Matt, and we will have a something on the Laws and Rules Committee agenda related, that relates to these fees, so that once that's passed, then we can come back and pass the fees. Because there was nothing stated in the code that that overnight parking is a violation, so that's been removed.
okay,
Then we can charge fees.
so that means we don't have to talk about it,
We don't have to talk about it, other
which
than what I
means
just,
that
we can adjourn.
we can adjourn.
What other, I have the parking, extra enforcement.
Oh, great.
There you go.
Okay, so there.
Speaking of.
You can find more information than you want,
Speaking of
but here you
fees.
go.
More than less, huh?
You can try to be thorough. So the top page is summary, second page is, actually, the second, third pages are the detail, but, this is probably our game plan, something similar to this going forward. Our officers did 5 shifts, over the course of the month, extra shifts. Some were after, hours of during the day, weekday. Also did a weekend shift. In total, they worked 10 hours. They wrote 172 tickets, many of which were safety violations. They wrote tickets for parking on sidewalk loadings, fire hydrant, alternate side, left side of the curb, accessible parking, bus stop, obstructed crosswalk, expired inspection, not marked in park space, restricted zone, and time meter. So, from that standpoint, it seemed to be pretty effective. So it's about 17 tickets per hour. Not that we're trying to do a certain amount of ticketing at any means, but they're certainly running into safety issues around there. So
Yeah, I'm sure.
See, the street parks in front of the fire hydrant.
Yeah, I mean, the fire,
6 o'clock.
fire hydrant, loading zones, parking on sidewalk, I mean, those are all bus stop, obstructed crosswalks, I mean, restricted zones, some of those are, someone's parking too close to a corner. So, there's a lot of safety violations in there.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, I think overall your objectives are pretty well met with this. I think we can keep it up as long as we're, my officers are willing to work the extra hours and as long as we feel like it's being productive.
Is there a geographical region that they spend a lot of OT time in?
I mean, they tend to, in general, outside of writing snow emergency tickets, historically, the line of, unwritten line of division between like our officers and KPD is we tend to stick to the meter areas, the business areas, right? So, those areas, some side streets off of those areas, but, generally they're not gonna, they're not gonna be driving down, North Manor Avenue and, right, so, typically, right?
They have gone to, I've asked about a special place before, like, if I know somebody's doing something consistently, and they have gone and taken care of that.
Sure.
They've done a really good job.
Yeah, usually when they go outside of the business areas, it's usually on a complaint basis. They get a phone call to check out a certain situation. When it tends to get into like neighbor disputes and things like that, try to involve KPD.
Right.
Those tend to be hostile or can become hostile. So, or, if there's issues with cars that have occupants in them, it's another area where we get KPD involved, but they have a great working relationship with KPD, so it's, been helpful by all accounts. All right.
Nice, thank you.
Yeah, very nice.
Sure.
A lot of overtime meter tickets written.
There's that wasn't their goal, but if they run into it, they're not gonna walk past meters if they see that they're, in violation, but, from that standpoint, I mean, that part is helpful in that, where the meters are posted, right?
They
So,
absolutely are.
for a long time, we've heard that, the meters are in effect on the weekend, on Saturday. They haven't always had the enforcement.
Correct.
So, the goal is not to hit people with a hammer, it's just to get out there periodically on a Saturday, just say, hey, you know what, we are periodically enforcing those meters on the weekend and, with some regularity on a rotating basis, they'll be out on Saturdays.
Good. So
Yeah.
the lady who asked me, do they monitor the meters on a Saturday? I was like,
Now you can say yes.
Yes. Yes,
You
they
got a luxury car? They do.
Will you be producing a report every month?
That's my plan. I
Okay.
mean, I'll,
Okay.
actually, Vinnie Perry, I have to give him credit. He put this together for me.
Yeah,
So,
he's
yeah.
very good.
He's good, yeah, and we're, this is a nice report for, he's a parking guy, but here he, put together nice spreadsheets for us, so. Yeah, Vinnie put this together, so.
Then he gets,
He's everywhere. You turn around, he's out there, turn around, he's there. You get caught.
I think there's more than one.
It's everywhere, and he's so nice, he's a sweet guy.
Yeah,
He's so sweet, he's like, I don't wanna do this, but
all right, do a motion to adjourn? Motion, sorry. All right, we're done.
Okay.
So,
Good night, Elisa.
and Lara's
Thank you.
cracking up.
Good night.
We got a lot of signings.